Hey there, Sart here. So maintenance is over. There were no extensions. That's like a miracle. And so I just happened to be awake, and I was kind of excited to get a first glimpse of this new unit, Curse of Immunity, Melissa. Before I get to her, I just wanted the first thing I actually checked was, is Clash of Wills still open? And sure enough, it is. It has been extended for an extra week. You can go in. You can do. They've got all the bonus mods. Yeah, you know, they didn't break any modifiers this time. You can do full mods. Take your team in there. You're good to go. All right. And they did give us some compensation. They gave us some lapis and like 20 Clash of Wills refill orbs or whatever, whatever those things are. And so I assume their idea of fixing the problem is just giving us extra time, which honestly I think is the easiest way to go about it. So now you've got plenty of time to finish out Clash of Wills if you didn't get to it last weekend. The other big news is, of course, Curse of Immunity Melissa, who is the newest unit. She is a unit that looks like she's very well tuned for Clash of Wills content specifically. Maybe not so much outside of Clash of Wills. I think she has an insane amount of utility in Clash of Wills, especially with regards to like morale fill. She's of course a great dark support unit. I was a little disappointed that she didn't get any other elemental amps besides dark, but you know, that's okay. So she's not quite at Sylvie level of awesomeness, but you know, really, who is? I mean, Sylvie's the best. Let's not kid ourselves here. But she's still got a lot going on. So I'm going to do a quick little review of her kit here. So all of this stuff is at EX3. So some of the things you might only be available at like EX2. So keep that in mind. So as far as her stats are concerned, don't stress about that too much. She's not going to be like tanking any damage. She'll have she's got particularly high spirit. She's got a lot of flat spirit in her kit and stuff like that. So she'll be able to take, maybe some uncoverable magic attacks. But other than that, she's not going to be able to, really withstand a whole lot. She does have 100% camouflage though, so she's not going to get targeted a whole lot. So first of all, she's got some flat stats if you have her Trust Mastery, and plus it also turns her normal attack into an AoE zombie removal, which could be useful. We haven't had a boss do zombie on the team in a while, but it's always nice to kind of have that in the back pocket in case you need it. Very similar to Cressnik. I wish it came with the LB fill like Cressnik did, because man, we could get away with some serious shenanigans, like having a counter Cressnik do a lot of LB fill. But she does have some other LB fill in her kit, so I'm not too stressed about that. She does have this sort of all-in-one skill that does ailment and break removal plus resistance to breaks and ailments. You'll notice it does not put up resistance to stop or charm. That is one thing that's missing. That's one thing that Sylvie kind of provides that is missing here. So that's if you're going up against a boss that does stop and charm immunity, you're just gonna have to make sure your units are prepared for it, or bring another unit that can provide that for you. And she also does 70% across the board elemental resists, all in one skill, which is very nice, very nice. She also has this ability, Chronic Flow. This ability right here is basically, this is what puts Cressnik out of business, to be honest with you. I mean, so this skill right here starts off with 1000 morale fill, and then will do that every turn for forever, as long as she's alive. It also does some LB fill for all allies, only 5, which is kind of low. I was kind of hoping to be a little bit higher, but whatever. It's every turn. It's 5 LB every turn. I won't say no to that. And then 100 fixed MP for every turn. Those are whatever. The LB fill and MP, they both seem kind of low to me, but that morale fill is really, really huge. So that's really awesome to see. Basically replacing Cressnik there. Curse Control. This is basically her, just her standard, I guess you could say, Dark Imbue skill. So it buffs everyone's dark resistance by 150, then imbues everyone with dark with a 45% amp for 5 turns, and that's got full uptime. That's really nice. She also has This skill is Parasol Shield, which does it does some nice typed mitigations, both physical and magic, for beast, human, and dragon for the whole party for 5 turns. Very nice. That's also got full uptime as long as there's no dispels. Does a nice little HP barrier, which is pretty cool, and AoE re-raise for 5 turns with 100% HP on that re-raise. Very, very nice. This skill is it's a little weird because it's a 5-turn cooldown, but the buffs only last for 3 turns, which is a little bit strange. But it does come with, you know, a nice 250% LB damage boost if your damage dealers don't already have that in their kit. I could see it being useful for like Olive or something on her LB turns. Could be good for like quick clears, like if you're trying to clear something out in a few turns, or setting up for a burst maybe. But it is a little bit weird that it does not have full uptime, because the buffs aren't really all that, they're not really all that great. Like 300% full buff, that's we've got units like Sylvie who are providing 350, 400% full buffs. But like I said, you're taking this unit into Clash of Wills, and so you can always use your Clash of Wills buffs for the 400% buffs if you really, really need it. So I see this as more just like preparing for your burst if you need a good LB damage buff for your party. Seconds of Support. This one's really neat. So it's on a 6-turn cooldown, and you can't use it till turn 6. However, if you use your LB or SLB, which we'll get to a little bit later, you can reduce that significantly. But it does a 400% full buff, 300% LB buff, and then does an LB mod boost, which starts at 30 times mod. In Clash of Wills, if you go all the way up to 200% morale, that goes up to a 60 times mod. And so I like this on units like Chizuru and 2B and Sky, who have like 2-part LBs and can double dip on this. Although I believe certain LBs, let's see, attack base. Oh yeah, they're all morale scaling. So actually, Sky would not get a double dip because only one part of her LB is morale scaling. But Chizuru and 2B both definitely will double dip on this, meaning a 120 times mod boost to those units, which is really, really nice. But yeah, you got to wait till turn 6, or you use her LB or SLB to use it a little bit sooner. She has these killers, which are very similar to Sylvie's, with the 250 single target buff that lasts for 2 turns, and then a 150 AoE buff to these 3 killers. They all come with some morale fill, which is really nice. So those killers are for Beast, Dragon, and Human, whereas Sylvie's were to Demon, Insect, and Stone. The nice thing about these is they only have a 1-turn cooldown, which means you could do a 250% buff on one DPS unit the turn before your burst, and then do the 250% killer buff on another DPS unit on your burst turn. And it's kind of nicely set up that way, because you're going to use this skill, you're going to use this skill, Seconds of Might, on one of your units. Say you use it on 2B, right? Say you have A2 and 2B on the same team. You'll use your killer buff on A2 on the turn before your burst, and then on your burst turn you use the killer on 2B while also using this skill, which gives her the big LB buff and the mod boost. So I could see this really having a lot of good use. I'm really happy to see that the cooldown is reduced to 1 turn, so you can actually use the 250% buff on 2 different units. Very nice. She's got a couple of cool Magnus abilities here. This one is available inside and outside of Clash, and I make that distinction for a reason, because you'll see in just a minute. But this ability imbues everybody on the field, enemies and allies, with Dark Element, and then allows the party to absorb Dark for 1 turn. So this is kind of like an emergency use, like if you're expecting a lot of incoming damage and you want the party to heal. This is a nice little sort of emergency tool, very similar to Cressnik's Shining Siphon ability. This is the Sylvie type ramping ability, where it ramps up the dark amps. It imbues the party, ramps up the dark amps from 50, 75, and then finally 100% on the 3rd turn, and you get 2 uses. Thank goodness, 2 uses they finally realized that these units need to actually be designed for Chow, and they've done it. They've given us the 2 Magnuses, so very, very cool. Only to dark, though, and there aren't any other elemental imbues. Strictly dark element. Now, I made a point of saying that this one was useful inside and outside of Chow. That's because inside of Chow she has 2 abilities. She has Hasten Recovery, which does all of this. It's sort of like Kaito's effect, where he reduces the number of turns on, like, you know, status ailments and whatnot. And so this does it for the party, however. So instead of reducing effects on the enemy, this reduces effects on the party. Specifically, it reduces your breaks, and or reduces the duration of breaks and imperils. And then that last one there is the healing efficiency. So like in Clash of Wills, oftentimes the bosses will do like a 90% healing reduction on the party, and like your heals get totally nerfed. This will help to remove that if the boss does that to you. And the monthly bulletin did say that the next Clash of Wills boss will use that, so we should be aware of that, and this can help you remove that from your party. It also gets rid of breaks, puts up break resistance, does a 100% across the board elemental boost for 5 turns, with a 150 dark resist buff, and you can do this 3 times in a battle. Now this is only in Clash of Wills, and only if you are above, what was it? Oh, higher than 0%. Oh, well, you're always higher than, if you're at 0%, you're dead. So, yeah, so you can use this anytime in Clash of Wills. It does require a full LB gauge, though, so keep that in mind. If you're you know, intending to use her LB for something, you cannot use this skill because it will use up her LB gauge. All right, so keep that in mind. The other Clash of Wills only ability is this all-consuming darkness, and this is the one that you're more likely to use in Clash of Wills, because this imbues the whole field with dark element for 3 turns, and that's enemies and allies, keep that in mind, and then does dark absorb for the party for 3 turns. So in effect, this is actually better than Cressnik's Shining Siphon, because Cressnik's Shining Siphon only, while it imbues the boss for 3 turns, it only does the absorb for 1 turn. This does the absorb for 3 whole turns, which could be really, really powerful. All right. It also gives everybody a 60% dark amp. So this is only in Clash of Wills, but it's very, very useful. You can only use this 1 time in battle, however, so keep that in mind. Another neat little thing is that actually, you know, the bosses have been reducing our heals, you know, for months now. It's finally we get the chance to reduce the boss's healing factor. So this skill actually reduces healing effects on the boss by 50%. And a lot of the Clash of Wills bosses, with the exception of the current one that's going on, the bosses have been doing a lot of healing when you pass the 50% threshold. Sometimes that can be really annoying. It can make it really hard to finish out a fight. This skill will reduce that for you, make it a little bit easier to finish out the fight if the boss starts healing itself in, like, you know, once you pass the 50% threshold. So very, very cool skill. I love that, just all by itself. I love that little niche skill. I think that's going to come in handy in the future for sure. All right. Her passives, so she gets a couple of passives at her EX Awakening. This one I believe is at EX2. Yep. So this is the one that does her like LB fill at the beginning. Really cool. It does a preemptive AoE re-raise that is permanent, unless it's dispelled or it's triggered. Like if someone dies and you re-raise, you won't have it anymore. But it basically lasts until you use it up. I hope we don't need a preemptive AoE re-raise. Like, I hope the boss doesn't come in with like an AoE attack that just kills your party unless you have this ability. I don't think we'll ever get anything like that, but it's kind of nice. You know, it's nice to have in case something like that does happen. This is her EX3 passive, I believe. So I believe, yeah, she gets this at EX3. And it comes with 500 morale fill every turn. Very nice. Comes with some nice static stats. MP reduction. All right, nothing too crazy. Like, you don't need to go after, you don't need to, you know, really stress to get her to EX3 just for that. But it is nice. It's a nice skill to have there. This is really cool. So she's got, she has a form of guts or escape death when HP is above 10%. And it doesn't note it here, but it notes it on the wiki that it has an HP lock at 11%. Which is really cool, because that means you can put another form of guts on her, and she can actually have 2 stacks of guts in one turn. So if you put something like Chocobo Feather, which, you know, procs as long as she's above 1%, then she's gonna have effectively 2 stacks of guts in one turn, because she'll stop at 11% with the HP lock, and then again at 1% when the other form of guts procs. Very cool. She also gets this 500 morale fill, and this is innately, doesn't matter what EX level she's at, she gets that no matter what. So right off the bat, you can see this girl is going to be producing a lot of morale. She is a morale battery to the max. Like, she is the Energizer Bunny of morale fill right here. And then this is just like a lot of her passive stats and everything like that. So she gets a lot of passive stats, but you're not going to be too worried about all of that stuff. All right, and she can triple cast all of her skills as well as all of her magic. She gets some nice magic skills. She's got full life, re-raise. She can chain Bolting Strike and Chaos Wave Awakened with Darkra and Darka. She's got Protectka and Shelga. Those can both be upgraded. Shelga can be upgraded to +3, which gives you a 75% magic mitt and 300% spirit buff to the party. Protectka, unfortunately, can only be upgraded to +2, which leaves it at a 200% defense buff and 50% physical mitigation, which I would have liked to have them both at +3 so that we could have that 75% mitigation on both. But you know, it's not a deal breaker. It would have been nice. She can also on demand imbue dark within Darkga. It's only a 35% amp, but that's still better than nothing. It's really just sort of like a backup in emergencies if your imbue gets dispelled or if somebody dies, and you need to, you know, re-imbue someone real quick. Also has a Bar Darkja, which is the 200% dark buff for the party with 50% physical, magic, and general mitigation, and 10 LB fills. It's kind of got a nice little all-in-one skill there. All of these can be triple casted. And then finally, let's look at her LB. So her normal LB does a cooldown turn reduction of 1 turn to a single ally. You can use that on herself to get access to some of her cooldown skills a little bit faster. You could also use it on a unit like Abigail if you want access to her Omni cover more frequently. You could use it on a unit like A2 if you want access to her Hateful Blade. And so there are definitely a lot of uses for this. So, you know, it's not a niche ability at all. I think there are definitely a lot of practical uses for this ability. Also does 75% general mitigation for the party with 100% AoE re-raise and some heals, which is very nice. And then her super limit burst, because she is an SLB unit, is a 2-turn cooldown reduction. Very nice, with an even bigger heal. 80% general mitigation for all allies. This is really nice. This is one of the things that really makes me want to pull for this unit, is seeing like 80%, like 80 to 85% general mitigation on a support unit that isn't limited to like a Magnus ability or something is really cool. Now, of course, if you want this, you know, to have full uptime, then, you know, she's got to be EX3 to get this full uptime, and even then you're only starting it at turn 3. And if you're bringing a unit like Abigail, this is probably a little bit redundant, but if you don't have Abigail and maybe you have Sylvie, I could see this having some use, because if you had her at EX2, Sylvie could do the first 3 turns with 85% general mitigation, and then Melissa here can sort of take over with her SLB with the 80% general mitigations to keep your party up and running. So yeah, definitely a lot of cool things going on with this unit. Do I think she's as good as Sylvie? No, I think Sylvie is still the better support unit, and I think Sylvie will continue to be the best support unit that we have out there. But she's got a lot of really nice and neat skills in her kit, and I'm very excited to pull for her. Now, what I intend to do is I intend to just do the step up for right now, because I just pulled on Abigail and I had to go all the way to pity, and so I don't want to just throw all my lapis at this unit right now. I kind of want to, since there's not a Clash of Wills where she can really be used. She can't really be used in the current Clash of Wills since Dark is not one of the elemental weaknesses. You don't want to take a Dark team into the Shark Moth right now because its weaknesses are fire, ice, and light. So Dark is worthless currently. You could still take her in as a support unit and just not imbue anybody with Dark. But even then, none of the killers match up. So she has zero use in the current Clash of Wills, really, if I'm being honest. But the next Clash of Wills, she will see use because the next one's going to be a demon human. She's got the human killers. It is going to be weak to Dark. Dark is the main weakness in the next Clash of Wills. She is going to be huge for the next Clash of Wills. I can definitely see pairing her up with someone like Golbez for the Imperil, which I'm glad I just thought about that, because the one thing that Melissa is lacking is a Dark Imperil. She has no Dark Imperil in her kit, so you have to bring a Dark Imperil on the team. But Golbez is a really great fit for that because Golbez does, he's essentially a free unit. He's very, very cheap to acquire. You upgrade his STMR and you get access to a 150% Dark Imperil, which is awesome. So Melissa and Golbez are going to be besties. They're going to be best friends for life. And then, if you do end up going for Dio in the leader skills, Golbez will have that dark element tag, and so he will be, you could have Dio, Golbez, Melissa, and boom, you're just going to be rocking it. So I definitely see a lot of potential for this unit, especially in Clash of Wills, which is why I'm going to pull for her. But I'm just going to do the step up. If I get skunked and I don't get a single unit on the step up, I'm going to take a break. I'm not going to finish and go to pity here and now. I might do it later on and just kind of see what lapis I can accrue. But for right now, I'm just going to do the step up banner and hope I get lucky and pull myself a Melissa. So let's go ahead and get to it. All right. So this one does have an armory ticket at the end. There's no special vision card. And the armory has a couple of nice killer materials. So I'll definitely pick up one of the killer materials when I get that armory card. But let's hope I pick up a Melissa along the way. Well, let's go. All right, show me what you got. All right, whole lot of nothing looking good there. Oh, I thought that might crack again. Crack for me. Yep, working as intended. Gumi has baited me big time. All right. Yeah, I'm also not. I don't want to go waste too much lapis for another reason. You might have seen I have a lot of tickets. I have a lot of tickets saved up, and so if I don't pull one all the way up here, I'm just gonna throw some tickets at the banner off screen. I'm not gonna show you guys doing like single ticket pulls, but I'm gonna do some ticket pulls and hope I pull her on a ticket, because I'll get the coins to get her 50 shards to get her to EX +1 at least, and that's all I really want for now. Like I said, the Clash of Wills isn't for another 2 weeks, the next one, so I'm not super stressed about pulling her to EX2 right away like I was with Abigail. All right, so far so not so good. All right, show me something good. Man, wow. Yeah, I'm definitely not going all the way to pity with with these rates. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna pull my hair out. Like this hurts. This hurts. All right, so I think I get a guaranteed Neo on this one, right? One guaranteed, yeah, with a like 2% on banner rate, which means definitely not pulling Melissa on this one. All right, I'll let this one drop since it's a guaranteed Neo. We can all see that big, beautiful red crystal come down. There we go. Come on, Melissa. Show me what you got. Soccer at the return. Wow. Wow. All right. It's not what I want. Not what I want. Nothing. Come on. Man. Yeah, the Neo rate is not looking good. Continuing the bad trend from the Abigail banner. All right, another guaranteed Neo on this one. Slightly higher rate. Or a slightly higher chance of on banner. See how we do. Jeez. Trash. Garbo. I mean, I love Rydia. Shouldn't say that. I love Rydia. Final Fantasy IV is my favorite of the series, and Rydia is by far one of my favorite characters from that entry. But yeah, as far as the unit goes, wow. Man, these pulls are sucking. These are awful. Wow. Okay. One more last step. One more guaranteed with a 5% on banner rate. So, which again means 95% chance of not being the unit that I want. Don't like those odds. I do not like those odds. And I haven't seen any non-guaranteed Neos at all in all of these pulls. That really sucks. All right, let this be it. Wow. Oh, God. Oh, this just hurts. This hurts. It hurts for me to watch it. I'm sure it hurts even more for you to watch it. Good Lord. And that's it. Yep. Absolutely no Neo Visions other than the 3 guaranteed Neos. Wow. Yeah. That's fantastic. Feels bad. Feels bad. All right. Well, like I said, I'm not going any deeper than that, especially with those horrible pulls. That was just absolute rubbish. You can see I've got 142 tickets. I'm going to burn through as many of those as it takes to get, just one copy, and then I'll use the summon coins from the step up to get her to EX1 and stick her in the shard dungeon. She'll be fine, because by the time the next Clash of Wills rolls around, her shards will be in the VIP shop, and I can get her at least pretty close. She'll probably, as long as I pull one copy with tickets, I should be able to get her to EX2 by the time the next Clash of Wills rolls around, I believe. And so I just need one copy. That's all I need. Not going to burn any more lapis. Hopefully I can get one copy on some tickets, and just take that and stick her in the shard dungeon, collect all the shards I can get from other sources, and just be done with it. I will end with the guaranteed. I think we should still get one more of those, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. All right. So let's end with some guaranteed goodness here. Who knows? Maybe I'll pull her on this one. That would be pretty sweet. Let's find out. All right. Last chance to do this on camera. Let it be Melissa. Oh, $5! No, no. Oh, I love you, but I don't need you. My God, I think I've got you to EX3 twice over now. Oh my goodness. Okay, wow. Yeah, these are like some seriously awful pulls. Wow, that is some garbo. Not a single non-guaranteed Neo in all of those polls, man. All right, I am done. I'm gonna go lick my wounds and you know, go drink a beer and go to sleep. So I hope you guys have much better luck on your pulls. Seriously, I think Melissa's definitely a good unit to pull for. If you are strapped on Lapis, though, don't sweat it. She's not a limited unit. She is in the pool. So you can definitely off banner her. Not if you have my luck, of course. I can't even get her on the banner, but hopefully you have some better luck. I think Melissa's a great unit, but she's absolutely not a must pull. She's just a nice unit to get. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will have some content out for you guys tomorrow. I'll do like the early Dark Vision stages, I guess, and maybe put some videos out for that. But I'm done for the night. I just wanted to get in and have a quick look at Melissa, do some polls for you guys, and I will see you on the other side.